The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Defion Productions podcast. I'm your host, the hardest working nobody in Bitcoin. Don, this is the week in Bitcoin. We're going to talk about a lot today. If you're following these markets, if you are a Bitcoiner or a shitcoiner, you're seeing a lot of red across the board, from top to bottom, just carnage in markets. As a long-term Bitcoin holder, it's amusing to me, but it's news and we have to talk about it. And there's many different reasons and theories of why this is happening and what catalysts will be needed to change it. I'm going to talk about some of those things today on this podcast. We will start with the charts so we can take a look at what we're talking about, what we're looking at. Presently, here on November 17th at 6:33 Eastern Standard Time, we do have a price of $91,780. Total market cap of 1.83 trillion in Bitcoin. In the last week since we filmed, we're down 13.5%. In the last day, we're down about 2.5%. Altcoins are getting equally as hammered, in some cases much more. If you look at Solana's down about 22%. Ethereum earlier today got under 3,000 for a small time being. It's holding slightly above now at 3,016. Going down, you just see red. Going down, coin market cap, everything outside of stables and Zcash is red. Just a big sell-off in the market cap of crypto. If we take a look at the total market cap right now, we're sitting at 3.12 trillion. About a month and some change ago, we were at 4.2-ish. So we've lost over $1 trillion in the total market cap of crypto. Things look bad. If you're looking at it objectively, non-biased, things do not look good. If you have a short time horizon, and going through my timeline on X and all of my social medias, you would think that every single person that has a social media account has a short time horizon because everybody's scared and bearish, and outside of a few accounts here and there are just God, the sky's falling if you didn't know any better. We're going to take a look at some of the catalysts that I think are playing a role. We'll start with the most recent. This happened overnight. Japan's 10-year government bond yield surged to its highest level since June of 2008, so great financial crisis times. And there's talks of a $110 billion stimulus package. So some of that stuff's going on in other parts of the world, which is causing a lot of uncertainty, causing people to be very fearful. If we go back and look at the fear and greed, that is incorrect. If we click on it, 17, which I think honestly is rather high. I'm surprised that we're not yet in single digits. I guess that's a good thing. I think probably by tomorrow we'll be in single digits. I mean, there's a lot of fear in these markets. People are shaken. Conviction for many is shaken. And this is, again, why, podcasts like this, a Bitcoin-centric, Bitcoin maxi podcast has been telling you for years, buy and hold great assets and have a long-term time horizon. If you don't, if you're trying to trade crypto, if you're trying to trade Bitcoin and time this stuff, it doesn't work. You get stopped out, you get liquidated, you buy at the wrong time, you sell at the wrong time, you get frustrated, and you end up leaving the market. Another post here by the great Martis. The BOJ continues to refuse to raise rates and hints at a very large stimulus package. The last tweet talked about $110 billion potential package. Going into the comments, BOJ's stimulus is a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. The market sees it, and the yen will pay the price. Truly excellent. The Japanese savers can earn something on their savings. Inflation will decimate the economy. Things are not looking great globally. This also happened yesterday, which traditionally, if you're a line drawer and you're one of those, TA guys, BTC closed weekly below the EMA 50. Bear market now fully confirmed, placing shorts at 100 to 105K. There are tons of line drawers out there. There's tons of TA guys that live and die by charts. They live and die by Gaussian channels and RSI models and all these other, I'm going to pretend like I know what the hell I'm talking about because I'm not a trader. I've never traded a day in my life. But if you scroll your timeline for 5 minutes, you'll see tons of it. And, people are extremely bearish, and the lines that they draw on their charts are telling them that we've reached a bear market status. And they'll tell you that Bitcoin is going to reach 35K now because we're going to go down 75% or 80% like every single other bear market. But I don't understand, honestly, why people would think that we're going to drop 75% if we are indeed in a bear market, if this bull market looked nothing like the prior ones. If we got no euphoric top, 2025, if you look at from January until right now, which is a month and a half before the year ends, we're up like 1% on the year. We basically traded 2025 as of right now completely flat. So if we traded 2025 completely flat and we have no blow off top, why would we all of a sudden experience the downside that we got in prior cycles when we never got the upside of prior cycles? Can somebody explain that to me? Can somebody please logically break that down to me? I do not, for the life of me, these people that are supposed to be so seasoned traders and TA guys and squiggly line drawers that are telling everybody that the bottom was coming at 36K in October of 2026, when 126 was not a blow off top. We literally were in the 120s in like August. We were at 110 in like the middle of the year. We had a April meltdown with Trump's tariff nonsense that we got into like 75K, whatever the case may be. I don't understand how these line drawers can tell us that we're going to get these levels of 30-something thousand Bitcoin when we never got the blow off top at 200K or 300K or whatever these insane bulls were, delusional bulls, as James Wynn likes to say, we're calling for. We never got that. So if we never got the top side, why are we going to get this bottom side? We've been choppy all of 2025. And even as we take a look and we're down, 13% in the last 7 days, and it feels much worse than it actually is. If you take a zoomed out look, so if we hit Bitcoin and we take a zoomed out look, like this is 2020, 90,000, 91,000. November of 24, November of 25. When you zoom out, we're like break even. So if we're break even for this year, how are we going to go down? Why wouldn't we chop for another year? Why do we have to go down? Or maybe we never got to experience the bull market, and the bull market's going to be in 26. And I'm not saying one way or another. I'm not here to like make predictions and say Bitcoin's going to go to 30K, or on the other side to say Bitcoin's going to turn around and go to 200K by the end of this year, or like the point I'm trying to make is nobody knows what the hell they're talking about. That's the point I'm trying to make. And and I've been saying this for a while, a couple of years in this podcast. Your favorite Bitcoin influencers are complete bullshitters. Absolute complete bullshitters. Name your top 500,000 million follow Bitcoin influencer, and they've been bull posting all of 24 and 25 telling us we were going to get 250K. Some were even saying we're going to hit $1 million Bitcoin by the end of this year. Now some of these same guys are flipping the other way and saying, oh, bear market confirmed. I got my order stacked at 70K. I order stacked at 50K. Like, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Number one, if you are a true Bitcoin maxi, why are you so worried about short-term price? The only short-term price you should give a shit about if you were truly a Bitcoin maxi is rooting for the price to go down so you can pick up cheaper sats. Because you're not selling. If you are a true Bitcoin maxi and you truly believe in the ethos of why Bitcoin was created and what it's here to do, you don't give two shits about what's happening with the price, except your eyes light up when you go down 13% in a week. Because the DCA that you're doing this week is 13% cheaper than it was last week. That's the only thing you should have any emotion about. But to be out here on the timeline as a so-called alleged Bitcoin maxi and you're crying about the price and you're saying, oh, it's over, and you're tweeting all this nonsense. Like, say what you want about British HODL. British HODL's an influencer in this space, and there's good and bad about British HODL. But I listened to a couple of spaces while I was at work today, and British HODL jumped on it, and he was basically calling people out for exactly what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to cry and be a sissy, the way he was saying it, about Bitcoin's price going down, sell your Bitcoin and let the rest of us buy it up and just go buy shitcoins or go buy equities or go buy something else, but leave the Bitcoin to the people that really understand it and are going to not be crybabies about it. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I'm taking away from like the last, like since October 6th, when we had that flash crash and all that nonsense that happened on that Friday afternoon, and the market lost everything that it lost, and shitcoins got absolutely obliterated, and Bitcoin hit the 126, and then a couple of days later we saw that liquidation event, and the price hasn't really recovered since, and everybody's scared and everybody's crying, and they're like, oh my god, price is going down, we're going to like, first of all, as somebody that's been here 12 years in this cycle, like, if you're crying over a 24 or 25% drop, God help you if we go through another 50 or 60% drop, if we actually get that. Because I've been here for so many that I couldn't even, double digits, I've lost track between coming in. I came in on an 80% drop. I know I've shared this on the podcast before. My introduction to Bitcoin was buying at 1,100 and all the way down to 199. Like, that was my introduction to this, was buying the drop from that first cycle. And then watching the blow off top in 17, and then not realizing that, oh my God, this is happening again. This is crazy. Is it going to like multiple of that? So like all that's been out of my system. The shitcoining got out of my system in that 17 cycle. I know what I have. I've done this time studying, and I've even seen some people have even tweeted today, which is just ridiculous. It's like, have I done enough studying yet? Like, saying that the people that are saying you need to study Bitcoin because you don't understand it, like it's some sort of diss. Like, yeah, dude, if you're crying, go study Bitcoin, because if you studied it and knew what you had, you wouldn't be crying about it and you wouldn't be a sissy on social media. That's the point. If you don't understand what you own, sell it and let somebody else come along and buy it. It's a scarce asset. That's the beauty of it. Somebody else with more conviction will come in and buy. A lot of whales have sold this cycle. That is true. That is a fact. More than any other cycle. And they are well within their right to do so. They took profits. They've been holding since, double digits or triple digit Bitcoin, and they're realizing some lifestyle gains from it. God bless. The beauty of Bitcoin is OG sell, new people will conviction come in it and get those coins and gobble them up. There's only 21 million of them. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Rich, show this too, because this is another thing that's upsetting to see. I've seen this all across my timeline as like the people that actually have hopium, the influencers that are like trying to get people to see the positives and all this negative stuff are saying, breaking, President Trump says $2,000 tariff dividend will be sent to Americans by mid-2026.
Is that after we get the $5,000 check?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the $5,000 check from me.
Doge check, because you know what?
That was the rebate.
Congress never approved that, because there's this little thing in our American government called checks and balances. The president doesn't just get to do whatever he wants fiscally. He has to have approval of the other branch of government in order to do so. That's why we never got the 5,000. That's why it was just a soundbite. The 5K Doge check thing was a legitimate soundbite.
Yeah.
The President Trump saying $2,000 tariff dividend was another soundbite. We are not going to get $2,000 checks. Congress is not going to approve. The Republican-led Congress right now is not going to approve. And the way Trump is going right now, if you really want to be, have a real conversation, things are not looking great. The MAGA base has a lot of cracks in it. There's a legitimate chance, a more than legitimate chance, that they lose the majority in both the Senate and the House in 2026. And there's absolutely no way that if the midterms go the other way, that we're ever going to get a Democrat-led Senate and House to do anything that Trump wants to do, let alone sending out money. That's just not going to happen. So we got a lot of the bad out of the way. Let's talk about the things that do bring hope. Number one, Bitcoin's $91,000 a coin. I mean, I've been here long enough when the thing was less than $900 a coin. Like we're doing good. We're doing well. If you have a long-term time horizon, we're doing well. The other thing, and it's the what we put as our caption for this today's podcast, like we are in a legitimate liquidity crisis right now. Like there's not liquidity in the system. If you take a look, let me get up what's going on in equities. I own no equities, so I do not know what happened in markets today, but I'm going to guess that they were down.
It's down like 500 or something.
Let's take a look. Let's get the precise numbers. Oh, yeah. Look, even Dow was down 1.18%, 557 points. The S&P was down almost a point.
Third day in a row it's been
61 points. The NASDAQ was down almost a point, 192. Yeah, and equities are getting black. Look, the fear and greed index is actually worse in the equities than it is in crypto right now.
Right.
The fear and greed is 15 in equities, and the fear and greed in crypto is 17. So equities are getting blasted as well. So there is lack of liquidity in markets right now. When there's no liquidity, there's no money to buy up assets, so people sell. That's why this is happening. We have a couple of things that we do know that are going to be happening in the next month to 6 months. Number one, because it's already been said by Jerome Powell, we know that QT is going to stop December 1st. Now, just because QT is stopping December 1st doesn't mean that QE starts December 1st. But typically after QT stops, shortly after that, quantitative easing ends up happening, which means they're going to print money into the economy like they always do, and money will go into the economy, asset prices will rise, party gets started again. The second thing that we can point to as bullish for 20 and 26, Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, the current Fed chair, who's been at odds with Trump the entire presidency. They have not seen eye to eye. And Powell has not been listening or going side by side with the White House, which isn't a bad thing. It is what it is. He's been operating, apolitically, at least not the way Trump wants him to act. And that's going to change in May of 2026. Good, bad, or indifferent. No matter how you view that. Powell's term ends in May, and President Trump will pick the next chair of the Federal Reserve. So one would gather, because of that the person Trump is going to pick is going to be aligned with what Trump wants for the Fed. And Trump has been very vocal, as well as Bessent has been very vocal about rates being 200 or 300 basis points higher than where he would like to see them. Does that mean the next guy is going to just drop things 300 basis points? No, but it does lend that money is going to get easier the second half of the Trump presidency. So seeing those two things, that QE is going to be starting, and we're going to have a much more easy money minded Fed chair in 6 months, those are bullish factors for risk assets like Bitcoin and equities. So while things are red now, while the market looks bleak now, if you zoom out and take a look at what's coming ahead, it's hard to believe, at the very least, if nothing else, at the very least, that we're not going to see a 75% drop of Bitcoin going down to 35,000. That's just asinine. And again, I'm not making predictions. I'm not saying it can't happen because things can happen. I have no market making abilities. I'm not predicting anything. I'm just telling you what lies ahead. And the likelihood of that happening is very, very low. So these chart people that are trying to tell you that we're going to drop down to 35,000 or 36,000 Bitcoin in October because of the Gaussian channel and this line hit that and this EMA and that 200, like get out of here. Like,
You got a comment?
I can't see. What do you got?
J.D. Daniels, 797. Good evening, fellas. Happy Stack More Sad Stay.
That's Jeremy. What's up, Jeremy? Jeremy's a hardcore stacker. He's a Bitcoin maxi of recently converted Bitcoin maxi, a 2025 Bitcoin maxi, somebody who's been stacking. And again, Jeremy's a great example. He's been stacking the entirety of 2025. So he has had a beautiful opportunity to have a cost basis basically stay relatively the same. I mean, he's bought in the hundreds and now he's buying in the 90s. So, like, if Bitcoin was ripping all of 2025, his stack would be much less than what it is right now because he's had a beautiful opportunity to stack Bitcoin at a relatively flat rate for a year.
Well, that was kind of what my thought process was. Like, I probably should buy some right now because I don't have a lot, and I think I bought it at 120 or whatever I bought it at. So now I'm like, I'm saving 30. So, I mean, I don't have a lot. I don't have a big portfolio. So but for me, I'm like, well, I'm getting a bargain. Like it's Black Friday. I want to look for sales. So I'm going to buy some stuff on sale. It's down a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's, it's just, everything is just so stupid. There's so many crazy things going on. And I don't know if that's part of it. I just don't know. And affordability is an issue. All these things are going on, and I just don't think the markets. Nobody knows how to react to this. It's just crazy times, and I think I just feel like everybody's just going to weather the storm for the next. I think, to be honest, we're going to see things. We're going to know where this whole thing is going when the Fed changes, as well as what happens in the midterms, which is now a year away. So I think a year from now, we're going to really see, we'll have a better sense of where things are going. And if anything, if things happen, we may not be going anywhere because we're going to just get a lame duck Congress.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. If I had to be political for a second and make a guess, things are trending bad for Trump. I mean, unless you're just like hardcore MAGA and you refuse to believe that the man does anything wrong, it's hard to not look at what's happening. You got Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Boebert. Like, these are like a couple of years ago hardcore MAGA people. Like they may not have, like Tucker most notably may not completely agree with Trump on every single thing, but they were like pretty hardcore MAGA, and they voted for Trump, were vocal on that, and supported most of his platform. And you have two influencers and two people that are representatives that have broken from Trump for various reasons, most notably his break from the whole MAGA move, Make America Great Again. You're literally not America first. I don't know how you can even debate that. It's just...
Well, there's just been things that are, I mean, I don't want to the political side of things, but there's some of the stuff that's like...
It bleeds into the money.
It bleeds into the money.
The uncertainty has affected markets 100%.
Let's put aside the Epstein crap. Put all that aside for a second. Like the weird stuff with beef, like with money going to this... Like
there's a Bitcoin Epstein tie, by the way, that we can talk about.
I would love to hear it. To be honest, I didn't know that. But there's so many things on that side where MAGA people are like, wait a second, we're giving money to this country and that country. What happened to us first? Like, and then even like yesterday, a lot of people, a lot of true Trumpy people on Truth Social were really upset with all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm going to eliminate tariffs on these products to lower the prices. So like, it's counter. If you want to be one of these people that believe that tariffs is going to help us, then why are you? Then
I want to make.
It's like he's not.
I want to make a statement on tariffs and be just unequivocal on it. It's been an absolute. Anybody that disagrees with this, you are hardcore. You believe you're Trump first. You're not America first. You're not American. You're MAGA, not even Republican. The tariffs have been an absolute disaster, to use Trump's terminology. In my opinion, it's been an absolute disaster from start to finish. He's been absolutely all over the. I understand that there's negotiating that goes on, but doing it the way he's done it, he could have done it the exact same way without telling us every single time what was going on, giving us the play-by-play color commentary. Right. He could have done it behind the scenes, and it would have been much better optically. It wouldn't have affected. And he probably would have
been more successful.
He probably would have been, and I think he's so egotistical that he doesn't see that, and maybe he has people that are trying to tell him and just won't listen.
He literally turned the election in Canada because he went so hard on Canada. He would have got a conservative electee in Canada. Instead, they got the exact opposite. And they built Canadian pride, and you killed the whiskey industry and all this other crazy ass stuff. That would have never happened if he would have just went and met behind closed doors with people instead of trying and come out with a big announcement one year. But he's got to post shit, and that has affected that stuff. It's affected the markets. It's affected everybody's 401. It's affected everything because he just doesn't know how to shut up.
Here's the
it
problem.
just drives me crazy.
This is what we run into. Trump was a byproduct of the Obama administration and how crazy things had gotten and how far left the policies had went. So it birthed Trump. Trump was birthed from those ideologies, right, wrong, or indifferent.
For sure.
Trump has now become what Obama was to the right, to the left. So now the left are going even farther outside because of the after effects of what Trump has created, which we see in New York City with Mandami. Mandami is a direct response to Trump. Trump's extremeness has made the extreme aspects of the left go even more extreme. So now the fear is when, not if, the left takes back over again, because that's how politics work, how much farther does the right go extreme? It's a battle to see who can be more extreme. And in the meantime, markets do not like uncertainty. And Trump is the epitome of uncertainty. And again, not to toot my own horn, and I've been saying this on social media for the past couple of weeks and on this podcast a couple of times. I said this, and you can go back to podcasts that we filmed, most specifically after the Bitcoin conference in 2024 in July. Troy and Matt were sitting in these seats right here. When we talked about the Bitcoin conference, we talked about Trump's speech, we talked about RFK's speech, and I said specifically at the time, at the height of MAGA, Trump's going to come back, we got to get Biden out, we got to push Kamala to the side, we got to get back in. And again, I supported the getting out the old administration. I want to be clear. I did not like the woke policies. I did not like the way that was going, and the Biden administration was terrible to our industry. I will admit all of that. But I said, be careful what you wish for. Trump is a grifter. Trump is not going to necessarily be as great as you think for our industry. He may say that he will be. He may say a lot of good things, but words and actions are two different things. And his words have not matched his actions. He's been super erratic all year. And as a result, the crypto and Bitcoin prices have suffered as a result of that. His back and forth, the SBR, I said from the start, the SBR, the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve was never going to be a thing. That was a complete co-op. The only thing he did for us, and I'll say us as Bitcoiners, that he followed through on was releasing Ross from prison, which was a great thing. I'm glad that he did, and he got a lot of votes for that, and he gets a lot of slack from people because of that. But the inauguration night, Melania token, or Trump token, and 2 days later, Melania token, and all the meme coin nonsense, that pump fund nonsense that followed. And again, I speak on behalf of Bitcoiners, but if you're a shitcoiner, you should be pissed at Trump, because all that meme coin shit took liquidity from the shitcoins. They completely underperformed everything because of all these gamblers that came in with the pump fund and the Trump coin and all the stuff that birthed, like for shitcoiners, like I mean, I wish we had Troy here to talk about all that because he was shitcoining, but like I can only imagine what that did for prices of some of these altcoins that maybe should have been higher than they were because of all the degenerate shit that was going on in the meme coin markets. We got another comment.
Yeah, the question again: do you think future presidents, Democrat or Republican, will embrace Bitcoin crypto going forward since we have these new rules and regulations in place?
I don't give a shit. I tried to say this at the outset.
Yeah,
like,
you're right. No, you've been consistent on this.
Bitcoin does not need a president. Bitcoin does not need BlackRock. It's cool. It was exciting when BlackRock created the ETF. It was cool to hear politicians talk nice and not bad about Bitcoin. But Bitcoin doesn't need any of them. The last block will be mined in 2140. Long after all these assholes are dead. Long after I'm dead. This number one asshole right here. Long after I'm dead. The last Bitcoin block will be mined. We do not need Larry Fink. We do not need Trump. We didn't need Biden. We don't need any of this shit. Tick-tock next block. That's that. If we don't learn anything from this last year, 2025 should have taught people a lesson. We don't need these people.
Well, it exists in spite.
Michael Saylor included.
The reason it exists is because of the government, essentially, and what the government's decisions and choices, and not just our government, all the governments. Like why we do things the way we do things as organized countries. And I feel like it's almost like why if again I'm a very, 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 very minor Bitcoin holder, but I don't like it when the government is involved in anything. It doesn't end well. And every time they get involved, and he talks about this, and look at the stock market, and when the stock market was up, it was because of him, but when the stock market's up, he can't control it. It's Biden's fault. It's the other guys. I'm just so sick of it. And Biden was saying, look at me, I'm great, I'm with the stock market. They all do it. And it's like, it's the gas prices too. It's like, oh, gas is this. Like they do very little to lower the gas prices and or raise them. They can raise them a lot. They can raise them by bombing people, but they do very little because they don't stand up to corporations and there's some policy. In general, the president has very little effects on gas prices, but he can have, or she, could be anybody, can have a huge effect on markets by just causing chaos, and that's what's going on. And I'm just kind of sick of it. And I wish they'd pretend they didn't even know what Bitcoin was. It was better when they were pretending it didn't exist.
Look at this chart I have up here. This tweet. This is the shit that's important. This is what we need to be focusing on. Not that Bitcoin's at 92,000, whatever. It's down 13%. It's all short-term irrelevance. Only 5% of the entire amount of Bitcoin that will ever be mined remains to be mined. We're sitting in the year 2025. The last one will be mined. The last part of a Bitcoin will be mined in the year 2140. That's 115 years from right now. 95% of the supply as we sit here right now has been mined, is out circulating, is to be fought over by governments, institutions, single individual holders like myself, sovereign nations. Like we're all fighting over that 95%. Only 5% more is going to get put into the ecosystem over the next 115 years. That's what matters. Those are the numbers that matter. Not who owns it or what they want to do, or if it's like we get. And again, the non-Bitcoiners, the gold bugs, or just the people that hate Bitcoin. The one good point that they make is like, you guys got so excited when BlackRock got involved. You guys got so excited when the government got involved. Why are you mad now when you see all this nefarious shit that goes on with their involvement? And that's a great point. And I can't knock that.
I don't want the government to own. I don't want the government to own Bitcoin.
No, I don't. That's
my problem with them owning Bitcoin is it's taking away from who was intended to be owned by.
That is a good point. You can not want them to own it, but the Bitcoin network is non-discriminatory. Anyone can own it. There is no gatekeepers. Everyone has access, which is unlike the traditional
I prefer
system,
they left alone.
which makes it wonderful. And again,
agreed.
I want to go into this really quick.
Yeah,
I didn't even have it up because I didn't really want to talk about it, but you made me think about it, so I'm going to address it. There was a story with the release of those Epstein emails. I think there was like 20,000 documents that were released this week. There's documents that show that Jeffrey Epstein, I believe it's as early as 2014 or 2015, had some involvement with sending some funds to Bitcoin Core. Bitcoin Core are some of the core developers of the Bitcoin. They help develop, they help upkeep the protocol. There's a lot of shit going on currently between Bitcoin Knots, Bitcoin Core. I'm not going to get to all that, and I'm not even going to get super technical about the whole what Core does, what it's going to be. The point I'm trying to make is you cannot keep people out of Bitcoin. If Jeffrey Epstein, a pedophile piece of shit, wants to send money to people that are developing Bitcoin, the beauty of the protocol is we do not gatekeep. He's allowed to do that. The same way as somebody like me, a complete nobody, is allowed to buy Bitcoin anytime I want. I'm not blocked out of the network the same way Jeffrey Epstein isn't blocked out of the network, or Larry Fink at BlackRock, or Donald Trump, or name anybody that you don't like. Adolf Hitler's great-great-great-great-grandson. Anybody has access to the network. It's both a beauty and a curse. But that is censorship-resistant protocol. That is what makes Bitcoin different than everything else. That's what attracted cypherpunks and libertarians like myself to this protocol early, where we said it's censorship-resistant. Anybody can own it. You can't gatekeep it. And again, that goes to the self-custody side, to the centralized side, where, when you own it on Coinbase or you own it on some of these other platforms, there's a little bit of a different aspect where things could occur that can't necessarily occur in the self-custody. We won't dive down that rabbit hole, but we'll just say that, to keep it very broad, yeah, it looks like Jeffrey Epstein sent some funds to Bitcoin Core early in 2014, 2015. What I will say is some of these idiots on social media are taking that information and running with Jeffrey Epstein created Bitcoin. Bitcoin was created in 2008, the white paper, 2009, the first transaction. Epstein doesn't show up until 14, I think, is the earliest that he showed up. There's a lot of people that were around 12, 13, 14,
like anything,
15.
there are, if you have, that's how investors work. And the guy made a lot of money off of investment, and he's got a really weird past. And I was trying to understand how Epstein made his money, and it's really kind of a weird. It's going to be a great movie someday.
Nobody knows for sure.
That's weird.
Or maybe they know, they're just not telling us.
It's like weird connection. But either way, people who have money will throw money sometimes into something because you never know. And there's an aspect with investing which is, you know what? Seems interesting, you never know. And there is an aspect of that. And I think that's probably what he did, as well as a bunch of other people. And a lot of those people probably didn't even stay with it. They probably got out of it a long time ago. But there were some people that invested in like everybody's like, oh, I owned Apple for 12 minutes or whatever it is. That's a thing that happens.
I got two tweets here that are exact opposites that I want to shed light on. The first one, BlackRock has just deposited 4,879 BTC worth $465 million to Coinbase. Our savior is now the biggest seller. Number one, there's a couple things wrong. Number one, the guy's max crypto, so he's a crypto shitcoiner. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is BlackRock didn't own that Bitcoin. BlackRock is the custody for clients. That's not BlackRock's Bitcoin. BlackRock buys and sells on behalf of their clients. So it's not BlackRock doing anything for BlackRock. BlackRock is doing it for their clients. And the third thing, our savior is now the biggest seller. Who the hell said BlackRock was our savior? That's the mentality that people need to let go of. BlackRock wasn't a savior. The ETFs were not a savior. Did it accelerate price quicker than maybe it would have done? Sure. I can get behind that. But to say that BlackRock was a savior, it's just ridiculous.
Well, it's the
Absolutely
same
ridiculous.
mentality that somehow some president, whoever it might be, or some politician or some corporation saying Bitcoin's a good thing. Like we don't care if you say if it's a good thing.
And
I don't
the
really.
flip
I don't
side.
need. I don't need them to support. Like I don't need. I don't need them. I like again. I'd rather them just stay out of it.
Here's
I
the
don't
other
need their
side.
opinions.
The other side of that, the negative. Here's the positive. MicroStrategy has acquired 8,178 BTC for $835.6 million at an average cost of $102,171 per Bitcoin and has achieved a Bitcoin yield of 27.8% year to date 2025. As of 11/16/2025, we hodl 649,870 BTC acquired for $48.37 billion at an average cost of $74,433. And then he hashtags MSTR, STRC, STRK, and all the other options and shit that I don't own, so I'm not going to talk about. And people get excited. Oh, look, MicroStrategy bought another 8,000. Oh, look, MicroStrategy owns 649,000. It's like, so what? It's cool. I mean, I've been on this podcast talking about it, about, it's great that a company like MicroStrategy has developed a Bitcoin treasury, but like we've seen this cycle, multiple other businesses try to just create a Bitcoin treasury and their underlying product is shit. They don't do anything. They don't bring in cash flow, and they're trying to just prop up their business by buying Bitcoin. Like, if strategy has taught us anything, they're the first mover. Like, Bitcoin was the first mover in crypto, and everybody's like, oh, like Picoin, which I'm going to talk about in a second too, that piece of shit token that's worth absolutely nothing and is a complete rug pull scam, one of the dumbest things in crypto. If Picoin is it God, I lost my train of thought thinking about that stupid ass piece of shit token. The point is, people that own that Picoin at 20 whatever cents it is are like, well, Bitcoin was worth, a couple of pennies back in 2009. It's like you are equating the 10 millionth token to market with the first mover, the very first token that came to the market. You can't even compare that. You're in a multi-trillion-dollar asset class now, and your asset is worth 22 cents. You're not going to 100,000 because Bitcoin did it. MicroStrategy was the first mover for the treasury market. MicroStrategy was the first company with the balls to buy in a bear market when everybody else was like, what are you doing? And continue to add to its balance sheet Bitcoin. And now every other Tom, Dick, and Harry failing company, because MicroStrategy was a failing company when they did it, is trying to replicate that strategy. MicroStrategy was the first mover. That's why they're successful, and the jury's still out if it's going to be a complete success. I'm not here to say if they are or they aren't, and I'm not going to debate that. It's not my area.
Just because a company puts it on their portfolio doesn't mean the company's going to be successful, because they could screw everything else up. Whatever else they do, and I don't know what half these other companies do. These I don't care who puts it on the bill. Venezuela, right? Venezuela is using Bitcoin and all that stuff. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if they make other bad decisions, Bitcoin is not saving you. It's only like it doesn't, if you're not smart with everything else that you do, and your hope is, well, the Bitcoin is going to increase in value. It's the same way of saying, like, I'm not going to do anything with my money. I'm going to wait till my parents die and I'll get their house and then I'll make money off of that. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you have to make good decisions, whether you're an individual or you're a company or you're a government. It doesn't matter if you own Bitcoin or gold or, Picassos. It doesn't matter, because at some point you might be like, we don't have any money. We have to sell these other assets that we have. It's like when you play Monopoly. Like, it's great that you have a hotel on Boardwalk, but if you've blown it all the way around and you keep hitting these goofy things, you end up selling Boardwalk and you go bankrupt. You lose the game. Like, that's essentially what, like, I don't care if a company that I never heard of before they bought Bitcoin buys Bitcoin. I don't care, because I believe that it's going to be an asset that is going to change people's generational wealth.
Yeah. I spoke about Pi Network real quick, so I'm gonna talk about this. And again, the reason why I go so hard on Pi Network is because this coin, more than probably any other shit coin out there, was specifically created to prey on the poorest of the poor who could benefit from owning Bitcoin the most. And these Pi shillers and influencers are causing these people generational poverty to continue because they're telling them that Pi Network is going to be the next Bitcoin when it's a complete rug pull shitcoin scam. So one of these bullshit influencer accounts of Pi, this guy's got like 90,000. This account's got 90,000 followers of people that believe that this is going to do something. Tweeted yesterday, November 16th, Pi will cross. Now, mind you, it's worth 22 cents right now. This token, Pi will cross $3.14 by the end of the year. It's coming, and it's coming hard. This is what this account tweeted. So I put out into the ethos for anybody who wants to put their money where their mouth is, including this asshole account here. I will bet anyone willing to escrow with a reputable site up to 1,000 USD in Bitcoin, up to 10 people, because I can't believe there's double-digit people that are that dumb to take the bet. Put your money where your fake engagement farming Twitter fingers are. That Pi does not get to $3.14 by 12/31/25. The store is open. I tweeted that at 8:30 this morning, and right now it's 7:18 p.m., almost 12 hours later, and not one person has taken me up on that bet yet. So and he's not the only one.
Slide back down and show that graph.
There's multiple.
That's not a graph that exists.
There's multiple.
That doesn't happen.
There's multiple Pi accounts that tweeted this same thing, and I copied and pasted my tweet onto all their accounts, so it's out there in all their accounts as well. But this is the original one, and I wanted to make it reasonable. I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to do one Bitcoin, like 1,000 USD in Bitcoin, and I'll do up to 10 people, so I'll put $10,000 of bets out there on a reputable, not like, yeah, you're going to take, because you're going to take the bet, I'm going to take the bet, and then you're going to go. No, I will take my $1,000 of Bitcoin, whatever it is at that time, and I will put it into escrow. You take your $1,000 of Bitcoin. We put that $2,000 in escrow. Somebody holds on to it, and on 12/31/25, if before then it hits 314, you win. But by 12/31/25, when it doesn't, I'm taking that $2,000 or whatever that cost is. I'm taking that, all those Satoshis as mine, and I'm blasting you on social media for being an engagement farming piece of shit, trying to prey on people that should be owning Bitcoin and not shit coins like Pi that are worth 22 cents. Let's go to this bullshit chart. Let's just show people what we're talking about here. Let's find this nonsense so we can show you. So let's look at this all-time chart.
When did that chart start?
87%. It's down.
When does
all
that
time.
chart start? When does that go back?
February of 25.
Okay.
So we're talking about what? February,
Right.
9 months. Look at that
And how many
scam
years,
wake up.
And how long
Look
did
at
it
this
take
scam
for Pi
wake
to
up.
actually exist?
It was 6 years before it went live.
Right.
So the bullshit of saying, oh, it's only 7 months, like 2019 is when the app went live and people were quote unquote mining by clicking a button on their phone, which is not real mining and not proof of work. But it's scam wicked up to $2.78. The founders sold all their tokens out and made a bunch of money, and it's done nothing but go down for the last 9 months, where it sits at 22 cents.
And anybody
which
who's
is even
falling
lucky
for this
to be
stuff, whether
22
it's
cents at this point.
Melania coin or Pi, it's just the Bitcoin. It's just it's just the .com crap of was it the 90s? It's just the same crap. People lost thousands and thousands of dollars, their life savings, because they were told that this was going to be the thing that Amazon became. Like, everybody thought they were buying this and this, that, and this and that, and everything else. And I can tell you how many people that I know, because again, I'm in my late 50s, and the number of people that were just starting their careers or things like that, or people that were older than me that took, a significant amount of money and invested in something because they thought they were buying the next big thing. And it all turned out to be scams. It was all pyramid schemes. And they bought the, and to me, I think like people are just grifting and they're just telling you this is the big one now.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys, they want to tell you this is the next Bitcoin, or this is going to be the next 100x, or this is going to, it's like, it's all noise. It's all distraction. They have two agendas. It's one of two agendas, the people that do this. Number one, they're trying to grift you so they can get more fiat, because they don't understand, and they just want to fiat mine, and you're a mark, and they're fiat mining on you. Or number two, they want you to sell your Bitcoin so they get Bitcoin at a cheaper price. They do understand Bitcoin, but they're nefarious actors, and they're trying to get you to buy these bullshit tokens, and they use that to buy more Bitcoin. Like those are the only two explanations, and it's egregious, and I'm sick and tired. I wish it would just die. I wish it would just finally go to zero or go to 1 penny and just be off the map and people would realize it. But unfortunately, new suckers are born every single day. And, you know, people come into this ecosystem and they see a token like Pi and they have their, you know, $100 or their $1,000, whatever the case may be. And they say, well, I don't want to buy, you know, 0.01 Bitcoin or 0.001 Bitcoin. I can get, you know, 10,000 Pi or whatever ridiculous number. But when you buy dog shit, you get dog shit. Like that, you can't. It's just, it's so disheartening.
Well, it's like I can't afford gold, so I'll buy a rock.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the periodic table of elements, so I'll just buy that because I can afford that one. Maybe that one will skyrocket. No, it isn't the same thing, and it's not going to be the same thing. It's just not.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say this week. The markets are red. The markets are bleak for people that watch them every single day. If you're one of those people out there watching this podcast right now, and the price of Bitcoin has you feeling down, you're either overexposed to Bitcoin, which I don't think exists, but that's just me. But it's possible. I mean, you have real life things to pay for. You should have the ability to pay for the basic necessities. You should at least have that paid for. You're either overexposed, like I said, or you don't understand what you hold. And you're looking at this from a fiat play perspective, which is what every single crypto person out there is doing, no matter what they tell you. Every single person that's out there owning crypto is doing that. They're looking at this as a fiat play. They don't understand Bitcoin. They don't understand what they hold. And I can only imagine how many people have been shaken out of this market in the past 2 to 3 months that thought they understood and they didn't do just enough research and they got scared and they got rid of it. And maybe they're going to be there sitting there waiting for that 35K Bitcoin, or maybe they're waiting for, I don't know. They're waiting for some number. And most of the time, that number is too low because your conviction isn't high enough and it never hits that number. And you end up coming back in at a much higher rate and you wish you would have got it earlier. And that's just how these things go. You know?
Yep.
I waited way too long to do all this, but I guess I'll do it now if people are still watching at this point. If you're
you
not,
got 52 people. You got a nice
if you're not
turnout
following my podcast on YouTube, I would much appreciate. I don't do a good enough job of trying to pump that and getting those numbers up. I would appreciate hitting the subscribe button. I would appreciate the share. If you're watching this on X, share this out. Comment. Let me know what you're thinking. If you're on Facebook, same thing. Please share this. Please follow me. All the good stuff. All the things that you know that people say. I don't consider myself an influencer. I'm not trying to influence anybody. I'm just a dude that tries to learn every single day like the rest of you. And I'm just giving you in real time my thoughts and what I'm thinking. I'm not trying to make you do one thing or the other. I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm buying and holding Bitcoin. That's what I'm doing for myself and my family. You may choose to do other things. I'm not trying to get you to do anything. I'm just letting you know how I see things through my prism, and then you take your prism, put it up to my prism, and see what it looks like for you. That's really all it is, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't be trusting anything. You should always be verifying. Until next week, thanks for watching. Peace.